Welcome to the first greatest podcast in the world. We have episode number 31. Oh my gosh, I've been doing this for too long. Someone stop me. We have Gon E-Choo the Gator, Jerry, Pennywise, Rhodey, Spitfire, and Wayne, and I am Khord Kitty, and we are going to be talking about lots of fun topics that I'm sure you're going to be talking about with your family over your holiday New Year's hoot. Let's talk a little bit about everybody. Rhodey, tell me about yourself.
Started out in the fandom online. I used to moderate roleplay forums. That's how I kind of got introduced to the fandom. Back when I was still in school. First con was FWA by accident. I was traveling through Atlanta and just happened to be staying at a hotel near the convention and got to meet a lot of people. Unfortunately, I could only stay for one night. It got me really excited about the subculture as a whole, and I just got hooked on it. I finally started going to cons, learned about Fur Affinity. Before I knew it, I had a fursuit. I was knee-deep in commissions and was broke year-round, but had a lot of new friends and was enjoying every minute of it. I dance, love music, and that's really about it for me. Just a dancer, gamer, all-around nerd, and living in Washington with my boyfriend 4. That's about it.
Sounds pretty dope. Cool. And also in the group we have another dancer for his name is Spitfire the Shep.
Hello, I'm Spitfire the Shep. As Khord said, I'm a fursuit dancer. I am also a failed artist. And I am also a game streamer with my Twitch account all fluffed up.
Do you play any tic-tac-toe? Because that shit is that bomb!
I would, but I suck.
I don't know. I don't think I'm going to be watching your stream anymore now. You just lost a fan. Okay, and then next...
And also quickly, my YouTube channel, hopefully Khord puts it in the description.
Shameless plug.
Is Spitfire G-Shep, and I'm putting up game videos up there of Let's Plays, walkthroughs, funny moments from online, mostly Call of Duty, GTA, hockey. Yeah.
So you like to play hockey? Hmm?
I do. And I am Canadian.
Let me take a wild guess. Oh, you're Canadian! There we go.
I am Canadian, and just to fit everyone's stereotypes, I live in an igloo, I take sled dogs to work, and...
Gotcha. All right. Well, on the subject of Canadians, Wayne. This is about a stranger coming out of the forest, and then suddenly he sees you. Who are you?
I'm someone that you need to get the fuck away from really, really fast.
There we go. Question answered. And I am Khord Kitty. I live in the city, the big city, the biggest city in the U.S. Woo! And we have quite a lot of apples here, big apples, although I don't have a healthy diet, so I usually will probably just get McDonald's or Subway. And I also like dancing, making music, singing, and playing piano. Okay! Next up, we have another artistic-y furry, Pennywise.
I am Haiku, and I stole my character from somebody else. Anyway, I love playing guitar, and I love performing on stage. If
you want to see Pennywise, you just look up Pennywise for Apocalypse on YouTube, and then he has this really badass solo where he's going like in guitar.
Song is not just a solo; it's a whole song.
He's got
And there's more to come. There's definitely more to come. So
he's got his guitar in hand, and he's got a fursuit on. It's quite a treat, and he's more along the lines of 70s, 80s rock. That's his thing. Like he doesn't go up there and play.
I like that shit too.
He doesn't play Skrillex on the guitar. That's just not his thing.
Yeah, no, there are no remixes.
No. None of that crap.
No, I
Speaking of dancing, I can actually pull off a mean moonwalk, so maybe I could get into dancing.
Yay! You should always get into. Everyone should. I mean,
you got What the Fur. You have Condition. You have Vernal Equinox. So that's up in Canada. So yeah, check those dance comps out, and you'll be just fine. Jerry Husky is the admin for the Panther talent, which has basically a bunch of furries that they do a lot with their lives. Like they might move around in suit really fast, like flopping, dopping around, or maybe they make music. But whatever they do, somehow it is a talent, and he likes to exploit that through the videos.
Yeah, I'm looking for a nice set of coattails to ride. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, Panther talent is a talent pool for talented furries, which means more guests guest for the show in the future, so look forward to that.
Yay. So he made a YouTube channel. Woohoo! And then we have Gon E-Choo Gator, who I've never talked to.
Jerry was actually the one that brought me in on short notice from the Anthro Talent group. I am a cartoonist of a cartoon called Gon E-Choo, Gonechoo. Gon E-Choo Gator, yeah. It's a deep south alligator who goes, I'm gonna eat you! But yeah, I do a comic strip that's kind of based loosely on the style that Walt Kelly popularized back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s. This takes place in the 1980s. Alligator is from the 1940s and has woken up in the 1980s and has been adopted by a fairly savvy 12-year-old otter who refuses to be eaten by the gator despite insistence.
Now, have you heard of Keen Spot? Because from what I remember when I was younger, Keen Spot was like the place to go for furry comics.
It was, at one time. There was a fair amount of people that were known for Keen Spot. I believe Ozzy and Millie started on Keen Spot. They now pretty much do their own thing, I think. But of course, they've been out of production since, I think, 2008. But yeah, Keen Spot used to be a fairly hot place. I don't actually publish anywhere yet on any of the comic sites. I only publish on Fur Affinity, Weasel, and on a Tumblr, which links to www.gonechoo.com.
And then this is a family comic. You could take your little kids and show them the comic.
I'm adhering very, very strongly to the exact types of comedy and style that was going on in 1950s newspapers under the comic strip of Pogo.
Though you're attracting the youngins by having these cute little cuddly creatures that are talking with each other and making dialogue. And
I suppose so.
At least one or two pop culture references that younger people would understand.
Perhaps so. I mean, it is meant to be sort of a bit of a historical piece, because it actually takes place in 1980. The cartoons are actually backdated to the 1980s. Like the current one I'm working on right now is July 13th, 1980.
That's awfully specific.
Yeah, it's somewhat of a meta exercise, even though the basic premise of it is just simply about a cartoon alligator and a cartoon otter trying to deal with the differences between how cartoon characters acted in the 1940s and then how they acted in the 1980s. The way that the medium evolved and the way that certain kinds of things which were cool back in the 40s stopped being cool in the 80s. Like, for example, in the 40s it was madcap chases, Tom and Jerry kind of stuff. Cartoon characters would run around brandishing firearms at each other, devouring each other, hilarity ensued, that kind of stuff. Where in the 80s it was all about being careful about being towards communities, working together towards goals, not failing to conform too much.
Hey man, I have a question. What do you feel about Fritz the Cat?
Fritz the Cat was done by Ralph Bakshi. I believe it was meant to be representative of the work of R. Crumb. I believe it's actually one of the founding movies of the furry fandom, the sense that... That's
kind of why I asked. I mean, there's a lot of explicit behavior in that movie.
Well,
within a cartoon setting, which was kind of wild in the time that it came out. I mean, I don't... What year did that come out?
70s. That was like after we started to see basically the cartoon animal, the funny animal genre. In the 30s, the funny animal genre was a lot more adult, and I don't mean adult as in wow, sexy fun times.
No. The context was about they had guns and violence and.
Well, Flip the Frog swore and ogled women in the 30s, and then Eric Schwartz brought him back because he actually liked the fact that Flip the Frog was kind of a bit more wild and candid. And in the 40s, it became very, very popular, and they were you got cinema-based cartoons. They were at their height, but during the 50s, 60s, and 70s, they slowly started to wane, and a certain amount of puritanism began to creep into the funny animal genre. And I think what happened is furry actually arose in rejection of that to try to bring back mature topics. Mind you, most of the topics that occur in furry fandom are basically based around sex, because that's the topic most people want to discuss.
Also, most furries are young men. So what do young men think about?
Especially in our Western context, where we try to basically avoid discussion of sex in mainstream culture. It actually gets addressed in furry culture.
See, if the whole furry fandom started in the Middle East, like all the female personas would have burqas on them, it'd be like,
Oh my!
They would like custom colorize their burqas, and it would be totally different. And this is all about self-expression here.
If you wanted to take an example that actually is actually a cogent paradigm, the ones in Japan, the kimono fandom is a different kind of fandom because it actually rises in the Japanese culture, where you have people that are really into the anthro-animal thing and they fursuit and all that. But it's less of a counterculture and feels more like a sort of a subculture. It's kind of accepted there. It's not particularly weird there. So it actually has a very different kind of feel. I've got a number of Japanese furry fans, but they're actually more accurately described as the kimono.
I'd be really curious. Oh, sorry, what were you saying, Rhodey?
Oh, no, I was just saying it was pretty cool that he brought up Pogo because when I lived with my grandfather, I used to live back in Georgia, and he would actually read me strips of Pogo, and it actually took place in Okefenokee Swamp, and I used to camp there a lot.
Walt Kelly died in 1973, and there was a brief revival of it from 89 to 92 that was not very popular, even though I think personally it was actually a very well-constructed revival. It's just that Pogo was a very Walt Kelly personal kind of thing, and a lot of people objected to the idea of resurrecting something that was such a very personal kind of work for this man. But it is very obscure. The only people that ever mention Pogo anymore are people like actual cartoonists now, like Burt Breathitt, and Bill Watterson refers to it as inspiration, but the general public doesn't know about it anymore. So it created this interesting connection to the past, and that's kind of why I ended up doing this comic strip, is because it reawakened a lot of old memories as a kid. So I said, I really should chronicleize this stuff and think about these old creators that started the funny animal genre. I mean, he single-handedly is responsible for a lot of what is the foundation of, anthropomorphic fandom.
You were talking earlier about how furry is perceived or accepted differently in different cultures around the world. But for me, it's no different than any subculture. What I'm trying to say is I don't really think that the furry fandom is a black sheep among subcultures, so to speak.
It isn't. Honestly, I believe it's the legitimate ear to anthropomorphic fandom, at least in the sense of the more liberal and free-thinking variety of it. I think that basically around the 40s there was a fork that occurred where a lot of the stuff that was acceptable in the 40s and 50s gradually became less and less acceptable. As it approached the 80s, it kind of reached a critical mass where it was basically no longer acceptable that these particular topics, adult, mature topics, were being suppressed, and it basically became the furry fandom. That was basically a reaction to the over-puritanization of funny animal stuff.
Well, I have to ask, when did the furry fandom literally, when was it conceived?
The actual fandom started back with magazines like Raoul Brazel and Booty back in the 70s and 80s. The online fandom is a lot more notable because that's when everybody collected together and realized there was something there that was collected as a community. But the actual interest that developed it, I think, goes back to those older sort of mail-around APA-style magazine fandoms in the past. Furry was probably coined in the early 90s, late 80s, I think. The internet basically made it possible. Not necessarily the internet, but the BBSs that existed that allowed these people to gather together in places and actually start communicating and develop a community. So,
actually, one thing I want to ask about, how did you first get into drawing? I'm assuming there's someone you looked up to, some sort of idol you had that...
When I was 12 years old back in 1980, I just kind of got bored in school and started to draw stuff, and I suppose it was probably based off of a combination of Disney-esque Contact, stuff that was coming on Saturday morning, cartoons and whatnot. I really tended to like lizard-type things, reptile-type things, just kind of drew in that direction.
For me, personally, I know exactly what happened. So when I was 3 years old, I saw a commercial for Fruit Loops with Seth Green, where Seth Green was turning into Toucan Sam. And then, I was 3, I was very impressionable, just got more into Transformation. I saw Transformation in a bunch of other movies, but I was really young and just over and over repeatedly in my childhood, and I just got more and more interested while I was looking up different Transformation art websites. One linked to a furry website, and so I saw that in 2001, and that's how I got started in the fandom. Has anyone ever called you a crocodile?
No, not in lived.
Okay, that's what I And
crocodiles sell drugs to children, don't you know?
All right, let's get to Wayne's topic, which is fuck. All right.
I'm pretty much an Australian bogan minus being Australian.
All right, so with Wayne's topic, we're going to do something magical. So we're just going to say a random word, and then he's going to just riff on it. So, go. Shoes!
Yeah, come on. Fucking shoot at me.
Linens!
Linens.
Sod.
I want to fucking burn them.
A grass sod.
Oh, he's already
Grass-
working on linen.
Grass sod. What about grass sod?
You
Like,
ripped on it,
are you
goddammit.
expecting me to fucking eat it? I remember I used to get so fucking hungry at school because I always forgot to bring lunches. So then I'd be eating fucking grass, and then the fucking teachers and other kids are like, "This kid's fucking weird because he's eating grass."
Grass sod. Like, you know, the square.
Here, I actually have a good one. Paranormal.
Paranormal. I know I'm paranormal.
Nice.
I have transcended
Paranormal,
beyond.
like ghosts and.
I'm a ghost. Woo!
Yeah, you can
I'm
tell
haunted by ghosts.
Or what about Khord Kitty? What do you have to say to him? Rip on him.
I'm gonna get the fucking newspaper out.
Squirt bottle.
The squirt gun. Like little tiny squirt gun. The adorable ones that you have to use on your cat every once in a
Yeah,
while.
next time I'm gonna fill the squirt gun with hydrochloric acid. You hear that?
God.
Jeez.
No, you have to use like a super soaker
bottle
on
survive.
cat too. Well, on Khord because
Super soakers. I fucking love super soakers. I'm gonna turn them into fucking flamethrowers.
oh, I've done that before. It's hilarious. You know what? The best thing to do is light like a large fire and put butane cans in those.
Exactly. That's what I want to fucking do.
That will blow a 20-pound log clear across the fucking lake. Yes, it will.
I want to
And
go
how
back
Wayne
to
wants
doing
to try
stuff,
this.
to doing that shit, because I miss burning stuff. It helps me relieve stress.
I almost burned the forest down next to a highway, which was a hell of a thing to do when you're 17 years old.
All right, so
We have recreational explosives.
My dad also has a history of pyromania. When he was living in Fort St. John when he was 14, he pretty much nearly destroyed a whole fucking gas line.
That is awesome. Congrats.
all right. So on the
Hey,
subject,
before we get
of-
everyone arrested,
So on the subject of things burning and exploding, let's talk about the flight that just disappeared. Spitfire. Yeah, there was
yes.
there was an airlines that disappeared.
Air Asia flight, I believe is 8501,
there's-
disappeared.
There's a lot of very
And
sad.
here, I'm gonna lay out just a few quick facts that I noticed. A while back in April, the Malaysian Airlines flight disappeared in the same area
Uh-huh.
with no trace of it whatsoever. And obviously all the conspiracy theories came up. Oh, it was hijacked. Oh, it was aliens. Oh, all this, all that, right?
It was the Jews.
Exactly.
It was a Jewish alien furry
And-
named Scrat.
Mm-hmm.
Well, anyways, now, with this new flight disappearing, once again, they can't find anything. And they said there was a weird transmission that came over the radio before the flight disappeared. And now, all the conspiracy theories are starting to come back up, and I want to get everyone's opinion on it.
It's
Because they
Obama.
were
It was
saying
Obama.
It was Mexican.
That a mile,
Close the damn.
they're saying that a mile, they were saying that, in a UFO was spotted that was over a mile wide
Oh, that's
in
bullshit.
the area. Yeah. And there's actual footage, apparently. It's easily to change footage now with all the technology, but the International Space Station spotted two large cylindrical objects from their cameras over the exact same area.
Were they
And then
boobs? Were they like?
cylindrical, not round.
Oh.
But it does bring back up, and I'm sure a lot of people are like starting to think like, oh, what's really going on here?
Wait.
Because it's the second
Are you-
flight in 1 year that has disappeared in the same area.
Are you sure it wasn't Gon E-Choo nude sunbathing?
Oh, God.
Or how about that Saints Row the Fourth, where there's this part where
Aliens
a
attack.
giant fucking energy drink
Fucking-
can.
Fucking.
Yeah, fucking.
I pick it up. What you're
Fucking hell, mate! I'm from fucking Australia, cunt.
Yeah, they're two large energy drinks.
So,
Yeah.
even though that, air travel is like one of the safest travels in the world, I think we could all agree, air travel to and from Malaysia, bad idea.
What
Pretty
much.
just
Just
what
try.
the interesting part is, hang on. Just the interesting part is it was in the same area. Two different companies, and another thing is there's two different types of aircraft, so it can be a problem with a specific aircraft.
Like I said before, it's the Mexicans.
Well, so let's
Somebody-
discuss which planet the aliens were from. Okay, is it Venus or Mars or I mean, we haven't really explored a lot of Pluto. I mean, probably the aliens
There is
on
also-
Pluto are really pissed off because they're like, "Hey,
they
it's
have
a planet."
They have found a dwarf star at the edge of our system too.
It's probably them. Yeah.
To touch on the missing flight on a more serious note, my mate actually works for Boeing and has worked on this planes. I believe the one that went missing was a Boeing 777. These planes are designed. Yeah, the planes are actually designed with technology to be completely recoverable. They can fly themselves. They can be taken over by airports where they're supposed to be going. So even if in the event that both of the pilots or the pilot and co-pilot were dead or unconscious or whatever, the planes should still be always able to land, because a lot of times the pilots nowadays are just babysitters. They sit in the cockpit and the plane flies itself. It's like almost a fully automated system.
Yeah, that's actually been like that since like at least 20 or 30 years.
Then do you think maybe that this was some sort of suicide mission? Like,
one thing, Khord, about that is even if that were to happen, both of the pilots would have to agree to that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because there's two of them in there.
Yeah, and there's also the thing
And
that
on their radars, they would see that the plane would dive. They can tell their altitude.
And, a lot of times, you talk about the black box in an airplane that tracks its flight and its location and all that jazz, and it's meant to withstand a crash. There's actually altitudes that planes can climb to that put them out of that range of being able to be detected. So, is it possible to go like on a fringe note and say that they went to an extreme altitude, managed to disable the black box or get rid of it somehow, or they're off the grid and then return on the grid and not be traceable? I mean, that's definitely a speculation.
If they really wanted to disappear, all they'd have to do is shut off their radar and shut off their transponder.
Well, my knowledge is the black box, the GPS locator in the black box cannot be disabled because it's a sealed and contained unit and it's in an inaccessible place.
Oh, it is, yeah. Yeah, it's like at the very back of the plane.
And that's what I always wondered, like, why is it like, oh, well, they shut off their transponders and they shut off their black box and they shut off, like, any trace of this plane flying somewhere. Isn't there some way of telling where this plane's going that is something that can
a plane can still be detected by ground radar, but it's a lot harder to identify.
I'm confused. Like, how come in every single iPhone it could tell you exactly where the iPhone's at, but we can't afford one of those for an airplane? Like,
yeah, exactly. I'm Khord. I'm picking up what you're putting down, man. Like, that's exactly what my problem.
Confused.
And I'm not saying, and going on that, I'm not saying it's insane, but like everyone is saying like, oh, aliens.
I don't think anyone is seeing
No,
aliens.
seriously.
No. What's really going on is Spitfire, you got to get new friends. You are hanging out with some of the craziest mofos in the world, clearly. I mean, if you actually are saying that you know a lot of people who are saying it's aliens, that no.
He's hanging out with me.
Uh-oh.
I think the
Wayne, do you
biggest thing
think
is
there's aliens?
And he smokes cigarettes.
Wayne, do you think it's
Actually,
aliens?
Yeah,
Hey, I
it's
never said
it's
I agreed
aliens.
with it.
Gosh.
I also, Khord, I never said I agreed with it.
Okay, that's good. All right, this is a very dark topic, and so let's go to a more fluffy topic, like I don't know, fursuit performing. Woohoo!
Oh, that's my topic, isn't it?
Yeah, it's so cute. Oh my god, fursuit performing.
Yes.
You get to be in your big fluffy thing, and you get to move around and do stuff, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's so cute! It's an escape from the horrible reality of my life."
All right, yes. I love your excitement, and I appreciate it, which is exactly what I want to entertain to you folks. So, fursuit performance. Where do you draw the line?
Do not hump anyone in fursuit.
fursuit pole dancing in the con space. That would be a little bit too much.
No. I mean fursuit performance as in, like,
what is and isn't?
Break character, when do you do not break character? Is there a line that should be drawn? Almost like as in a headless lounge, non-headless lounge type.
There's a phenomenon, if you want to call it that, in the fursuiting community within the furry fandom where it used to be taboo to ever, ruin the magic in a public space, and now people just don't care. I mean, there's some old school suitors or purists that conform to some like code of conduct for what is and isn't acceptable when you're in suit, but I think it's kind of gravitated towards people are just like, man, I'm hot. It's still a long walk to get to the headless lounge, and I really don't care, so I'm walking back to the hotel room with my head off.
And here's the thing, how many people out there actually look at fursuiters and go like, wow, that's a real animal! No.
Yeah, that's the whole don't ruin the magic thing, right?
I mean, it's like, oh, do you want to not ruin the magic and then let the paramedics ruin the magic after you're on, suffering from a...
Right.
There's that certain point where, like, yeah, you gotta take it off, but...
The magic will die with me.
And I have to say, like, I'm very new to the whole fursuiting thing, and I only have a partial on. And in fact, people will laugh at me when I'm like, "Oh, it's really fucking hot in this like fursuit right now," and they're like, "Dude, you're only in a partial." And I've never worn like a full suit, and people described it to me as like, "Oh man, you're like it's like wearing a rug."
It's like soaking, sweat-soaked throw rug.
It's like, I mean, there's got to be some like, there's got to be some way to manage it, which is Under Armour and like proper, taking care of yourself and your fursuit at the same time.
Oh, this would be a good time for me to tell everyone about, I had a horrible health scare after Midwest Fur Fest. Alright, get this. Around noon on the Sunday of Midwest Fur Fest, so this is right after the chlorine incident, so everyone's like, oh no, what if you're sick from chlorine? And I'm like, nah, I don't even smell nothing. And then I did the dance comp, and I had Under Armour on that also looked like clothes. So I was like, oh, it's okay. So I did the dance comp, but then I kept wearing the same freaking clothes, the same Under Armour. And then I went through the whole day. I went on the megabus, and after midnight, I was puking chunks. It was.
You said that I actually read your journal. You were wearing your Under Armour for like a day, dude. That's not, dude. You can't do that, man.
I was like, oh, this is clothes, yay! Nobody cares, and like it was just a bad coincidence that what happened was I put all my clothes in a baggage, and then I kept that with another friend because all my other roommates they already left by noon, so all my clothes all that I could change into were in this guy's room, and he was too busy suiting, so I had to wait until he was done suiting, and then by the time those 10 hours went by and I had access to my suit, I completely forgot that, oh my gosh, I'm wearing Under Armour, and it could be a health risk, but I was stupid. No one ever told me about this stuff. I'm like herp to derp.
Well, so, it's like a bunch of bacteria invading the largest organ you have, which is your skin, man.
Yeah, and so what happened was I went on the bus, I threw up like 4 times, I was totally dizzy, I was as effed up as you could possibly get. And then once I realized, oh, maybe it's the Under Armour, I took the Under Armour off, and the symptoms, they kind of stopped-ish, but, well, I had a lot of really bad symptoms for about a week afterwards, but, yeah, that was my health scare, and it's all kind of within the subject of fursuit performing, because that's a part of it, knowing how to do it safely, and I did it not safely, and it screwed me up.
Khord, between me and you, I think it was the meth. And the crack cocaine, like we discussed earlier.
Oh yeah, all that meth. See, what happened was while I was taking my meth and crack cocaine and heroin and PC and pot, and I was taking it all at the same time. And
you learn to pace yourself. Okay, when it comes to meth, you have to pace yourself. All right.
You see, I tripped and I fell down in a meth lab, and then I absorbed all of the drugs in my fursuit. And
see, I know it's a lie because, like, if you trip and fall in a meth lab, you're probably going to explode or something.
But yeah, kids don't do drugs.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, just remember, Khord,
moving forward,
pace yourself when it comes to doing heroin and meth and. All those
you see, what happened was Pennywise, he notices how I am in fursuit, where I look like I'm on all of those drugs, and he just makes assumptions.
No, I don't see that. Actually, to be perfectly honest, like, every time I see him in fursuit, I just want to go up to him and punch him, like, right in the ribs. Give me a good old kidney shot, actually.
Because you want to know where my dealer is, don't you?
Yeah, no. Just that's how I show my love, is a good old kidney shot.
I know how these guitarists get all their notes from, you know. It's like, without the drugs, it's like, what do I do with this guitar thing? I'm confused.
Hey, them's are fight words.
Uh-oh. All right, well, let's talk a little bit more about fursuit performing. Like, what are some challenges that come up to you in fursuit performing?
For me personally, or just
Yeah.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. It's just like, how do I deal with like people who don't have enough to say? Like there's situations I've been in, and I'm just like, hey, how's it going? I'm in fursuit. I'm like being totally animated, and I'm having a good time in front of them, and they just like all they do is give me like a shove or something, and I don't know what that means. Like I'm questioning them. I'm like, oh, what the hell am I supposed to do with that?
I'll tell you exactly what you do with that, and that's go, oh my gosh, I'd love to stay and talk, but I really got to go say hi to a friend over there, and like you point and wave in an obscure location, and then start like bouncing off somewhere else.
That's what I did. Like I ran away in that situation. Like I literally just was like, oh, I gotta go, boop, just fucking sprinted away.
There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, if there's no like reciprocity on their end for like engaging in conversation or being silly or whatever, you just move on. You said hi.
I don't know about you or anybody else, because like there's that one side of fursuiters where like, you know, they talk in fursuit, and there's that other group of fursuiters that don't talk in fursuit, and I'm one of the ones who talk in fursuit. If I can't get that sort of like reaction from people and they don't say anything back to me, it's like weird, and I'm like, I don't know what to do about that other than run away, and I want like something else to happen. Like I want there to be another reaction that I could give them that'll be more engaging, you know, in the long run, that will be able to have their encounter with me to be more pleasurable, I guess.
Yeah, you want dialogue where there's no dialogue.
And here's the thing I don't get about silent fursuiters. All right, so a furry is a combination of an animal, a creature which makes sounds, and a human, a creature who makes sounds. So you combine them and you're silent? What? That makes no sense!
There's a lot of fursuiters that are silent, and they make little squeaks or whatever, and I think that's adorable. Yeah, I mean, every single one of them is an individual, and they do their own thing, and that's beautiful. And there's nothing that I will say that will make, you know, that'll be like, oh, you know, I feel like that's wrong. But for me personally, I like talking. I like engaging with people.
One thing I really want to see a lot more of is people actually making their persona sound like accurately. Like, have you actually heard what a raccoon sounds like? Is it something like or something freaky like that? Then learn how to do that. You know.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, in Khord, that's funny because like, I've seen on your videos, and it's actually really adorable. You've nailed the purr down like pretty like much to the teeth. Yeah, and the meows, because like you happened to tackle me and whatever the hell you did at Furpocalypse.
Yeah, what happened was we were trying to snuggle people to death. That was our agenda.
And I wasn't wearing a suit or anything.
Yeah, we attacked everyone. There was not really any mercy.
Yeah, it was you and the other guy, and I thought it was adorable. I played along with it, and I felt like you guys were like, all right, this guy's playing along with it, so we'll like latch on to him for a while.
I don't know if anyone went to the closing ceremonies of Furpocalypse, but I was with Mizuhiro. That's the furry we were talking about. He's another white kitty fursuiter who also he is the head of the cat meetup at Anthrocon.
The hell it is.
Yeah, we meowed like crazy.
Yeah, no, you did. And I thought it was adorable.
Yeah.
That's the thing though. Like, I mean, fursuiters who pantomime is fine or whatever if that's part of their character and they're portraying that and they're staying in their character. That's okay. But technically, you know, it's anthropomorphic convention. You're giving, you know, human form and attributes to something that shouldn't have them. So I mean, to what extent someone does that really is on them. I don't really think it's bad either way. Obviously, I don't think anyone here thinks it's like terrible either way. But
I just wanted to have a reason. That's it. You know, I mean, do something for a reason, and then you're performance will be a bit more purposeful.
I think it just goes to the personality of each suitor / character, and how they portray that, to what extent they portray that. If it's through like just vocalizing animal sounds or squeaks or whatever, or full-fledged conversation, it just falls under the discretion of that person.
Well, I'll have to say that, like, when I'm in character, when I'm in fursuit, I'm not going to have like a rational conversation with anybody. Like, I'm going to be in character and I'm going to act as Hamilton is, and he's going to be like, I'm probably going to tell you that you're not orange enough or something. Like, it's going to be something that's like completely like beyond anything that you would normally have with a normal person, like a normal conversation you would have with a normal person. It's going to be like, well, your fur's not orange enough, so I can't associate myself with you. And then I'll laugh about it, and then like I'll point out all your defects and tell you that you're not orange enough. Like, this part of your fur is not orange enough. Like, that's my style. Like, it's going to be something as ridiculous as that. It's not going to be something that I would never say that to anybody when I'm not in fursuit. Like, in no way would I point out those things. But when I'm in fursuit, hell yeah, I'm going to like just say that you're not a cat and I don't like you, but I'll give you a hug. I won't like you, and you're also not orange enough. And I'll say it in like an upbeat like type of like, you're not orange enough. Like, I don't like you. What's going on here? Your paws they're just like an inch too small. Like, I don't like them.
It's part of the character. I mean,
yeah, exactly. Like, it's totally like an act. Like, it's nothing that anybody should hold. Like it was like Hamilton just came up to me and he said, "I'm not orange enough." I'm like, I don't think that's like. I think he offended me. It's literally just like, that's like my character. Like, my character is supposed to be kind of like, like a hard ass, but in a lovable way, like a charismatic, lovable, like piece of shit.
A charismatic hard ass.
Yeah, exactly. But that's the thing, is it's all about like really like performing. It's like, it's about being your character, and when you're at a suit, yes, so that's different. Like, when like human to human contact, I would never do that. But when I'm in fursuit, like, yeah, I'm gonna bust your balls about how not orange you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know. I mean, with my character,
I think it's like such a beautiful thing to me. Like, that's one of the reasons why I love being in fursuit. Like, it's just like it brings me joy. It's hilarious to me.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. How do you guys feel about that? Like, what are your what are your thoughts about what I just said? I guess.
I mean, every character has their like mannerisms or their personality. I mean, from my suit, it's that young teen little brother that's trying to be accepted by everyone and thinks that everything that everyone else does is super cool, so he's always running around. But in conversation, like, if Rhodey gets in over his head, someone uses big words, sure, I might know them, but my character doesn't, so I'll be like, oh, what are you talking about? What do you mean? Or he's like, anything that's becomes sexual in nature makes him really confused, and he's like, I'm just gonna go away or go over here, or like
very naive in a certain
correct. Like, lovably naive would be, I guess, the best way to put his.
The first thing I thought about when you're talking about mannerisms was, the fursuiter telephone?
Mm-hmm.
She's made an effort to make sure that there's not a bunch of imitators. Like, she actually has this big rule sheet thing that's talking about how the new angel dragons that are made, that they shouldn't have names that are like radio or telephone, something to do with those sort of electronics. And then she made sure to not give out the secret as to how she constructed the the device that she uses to make her sound. And I think it's fascinating. I mean, she's trying to preserve the integrity of her persona.
Like, I've met Telephone out of suit. She's an absolute sweetheart. In suit, she's an amazing performer. She's a very unique character, and she just, when she's in character, she runs the show. Absolutely outstanding person, outstanding suitor in character. I think just the fear is, especially from like a friend standpoint, and seeing someone in the fandom, is like, you don't want them to like burn something out. You're afraid that I think for anyone, like, you're afraid that am I becoming overbearing, or is my character kind of losing steam, or do I need to add new dimensions to my character's personality to remain like engaging and
Well, here's the thing. I mean, I think that's with the assumption that we're thinking that she's trying to be hip or trying. Like,
No, I don't think she is. She's
just awesome.
She's
In general, she's an awesome
character. She's just playing
person.
herself now, and so that's that's just how it should be. A character should just be themselves. And we should just move on and go like, yeah, that's just how it is. That's how that character is. There's another character. Let's see how they are, and just sort of understand that these are really creative constructions. Like there's a character, like even with like actors, that even with a movie role, there's so many layers to it that it's like a fursuit. There's just lots of different layers to what makes a character.
Yeah. I mean, it's just like almost like she's putting everything out on the table, and then I don't want to see that burn out because she has a lot of potential. Like hopefully she will develop some other sort of character that will be just as enjoyable as Telephone is, like right now.
Well, she's developed a few characters. Actually, her first character I think was like pretty.
I don't know that much about her. Actually,
Wicker. That's
Wicker,
it.
yeah.
And as a little spoiler alert, I actually purchased a angel dragon at an auction, and
you cheeky bastard!
I know. And so I am going to have an angel dragon fursuit in about 2 years. So just spoiler alert, just saying.
Actually, you mentioned that somewhere. I don't know where it was, but you told me that.
Yeah, and what I want that persona to represent is everything that Khord is not. Like the exact opposite, basically.
You mean like a drug addict?
More like a really angsty, angry, just pissed off, really, just think Wayne, except with less curse words.
Drug addict.
No, just somebody who's just has a lot of problems with the world and just really doesn't like any of you. Hates all
he
of you.
cracks me up. He's very interesting. He's a very interesting person.
Indeed. It's too bad he had to leave. Fursuit bands. Jerry, it sounds like you want a fursuit band to come up, and I wish I could say that there's no fursuit bands ever. They don't exist, but I swear I have some really vague memory from like 3 or 4 years ago of some fursuit band that performed somewhere, and this might be just a weird...
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Well, yeah, there was one fursuit band that performed at Fur Fight years ago, but I think the lead singer's mic cut out, so he couldn't really sing, and it pretty much ruined the show. But
yeah, it was called the Furry Punk Rock Massacre.
Look,
yes.
Pennywise, I'd do that with you. All we need to do is just find I know a fursuit drummer. I don't know what he's going to be doing, but...
Yeah, but dude, and I'm not going to knock on any of those guys, because I've never met any of those guys, but, like... I mean, I have so much passion in what I do that I know I could, like, at least do something sort of like that.
Yeah, the only issue is, how much trust we could really put into people who we only know online. That just because somebody says, "Oh yeah, I play bass," doesn't mean they play bass.
Doesn't mean squat. Like, I mean, that's the thing. That's why I go ahead and go on stage by myself. Just so people can be like, all right, well, that's what I'm going to expect from him.
Well, you got to have musicians that not only are, well-rounded with whatever instrument or instruments they play, but you're going to need, coherency, especially as a band, it comes with time practice, actually playing shows, knowledge of musical theory, do the players mesh well together. And a lot of that goes towards how well, you perform live and how much, stage presence you have. It's easy to say we want to get a band together. It's hard to consistently practice and to be able to put on a show that is, just worthy of the time people are going to go. They expect a quality performance, and it's really difficult in the fandom. It's just people live so far away from each other.
All I really want to see is some sort of fursuit, like, and I hate to use a word, but like a dream performance of, fursuiters who are just like in the pocket the entire time. They just, they're playing and they're killing it. And it's a song that's not that people don't know it, but like, it's something that they will be able to, dance to or move to, at the very least move to. Something that they could, just, have fun with.
It's relevant, relatable music, preferably original songs.
That's not like a remix, you know.
Mm-hmm.
That's not like, you know, because like the thing is, I always say this to people, as a musician, it's so hard to compete with the whole like, you know, electronic scene because like, yeah, dude, it's fucking invigorating. Like when you drop, you fucking cut out the lights and have everybody wear, like strobe lights or what the hell like, you know, like a rave scene, like that shit is awesome. Like, you know, no matter how many times you cut it, like that's gonna be fun. Like it's like chicken, everybody kind of likes it. But you know, when it comes to like, you know, a furry rock band or whatever you want to call it, that's gonna take a lot more like time and patience and practice than possibly those people who might be involved in can afford. And that's the sad part. Like, it's just like, you know, you know, sometimes like you can't afford to spend that much time on one project like that.
Is that why in the fandom everyone their grandmother's a DJ?
Well, no, a DJ. What do you mean? Wait, say
I mean, there are DJ. I'm saying there are DJs everywhere in the fandom. Does that take less time and effort?
No, it's easy to be a DJ. It's difficult to be a good DJ that combines performance, that actually, you know, compiles and mixes or even produces their own tracks, and who doesn't just put a laptop on stage and hit play.
Yeah, that's true. That's exactly what I was going to say.
When will the bass drop? When will the bass drop? When will the bass drop?
Never.
All right, let's go on to our last topic, which is my topic. The Interview, the movie with Seth Rogen and that other guy.
I heard that shit got pulled real quick.
Yeah, it got pulled real quick because of the whole Sony threats, yada yada, or threats to Sony. Yeah. So yeah, that was sucky for them. And then what happened was they released it in just a few theaters. They made a little money, and they also released it online. And I saw it, and it was everything other than the writing. Writing.
Hold on. You saw the movie?
I saw the movie.
Oh, okay.
Got it on YouTube. It just cost $6 on YouTube. That's it.
Well, I wasn't that interested in seeing it, but no, go on. I'm sorry.
I mean, okay. Let's just say if you like The Hangover 2, you'll probably like that movie because it was kind of reminded me of it in that it had just jokes that fell really flat. But if you were like a drunk frat boy type humor guy, then you would love it.
I thought it would be more like Pineapple Express because it had Seth Rogen and what's his face.
I saw Pineapple Express. I remember it being funny. I didn't laugh once in this movie.
In the new movie?
Yeah, The Interview. But I'm hella strict with my, you know, whatever I really like.
All right, actually, I have to say, along those lines, what is your favorite like old, and I mean old like prior to the 90s like comic or like movie comedy?
You lost me completely.
All right, so what is your favorite comedy movie that was produced and, you know?
My favorite comedy movie is
before the 90s.
Before the 90s?
Yeah, before the 90s. So 80s, 70s, 60s.
I really like that one where Eddie Murphy was switched with that other guy.
Trading Places.
Yeah, Trading Places with
that was really great. But actually, I would say Airplane. Airplane takes it.
Airplane is my favorite movie of all time.
Good.
Hard to beat Airplane.
Airplane.
Have you guys ever seen the Clue movie?
Wait,
Yeah,
Clue? You mean
From 1985?
No, I've never even heard of that movie.
I thought you meant that little blue dog.
No, this is actually
no, not Blue's Clues. That's Blue's Clues.
an amazing movie based on the book or the board game Clue, obviously.
It's like a murder mystery or something.
Has Tim Curry in
It's
it.
a comedy. I believe so.
Yeah,
Yes,
he's
it
one of the
does.
main
Yes, it
characters,
does.
Tim Curry.
He plays Wadsworth.
Yes.
Really great movie. It's one of my favorite comedies of all times, and it's pre-1990, so I figured it fit the theme of the question. But yeah,
it totally does.
really good.
What about like Mel Brooks films? You guys like Mel Brooks?
Mel Brooks. Yeah, he's done a lot of great stuff. I mean, Young Frankenstein.
Yeah, Young Frankenstein. He does Spaceballs.
You forget Spaceballs.
But my favorite is Blazing Saddles. I will never ever. I still have that movie in my DVD selection. Blazing Saddles is hilarious.
It's hard for me to appreciate a parody of a genre that I'm never into and I've never seen before. You know, I've never watched Westerners or anything like that.
Oh, really? Oh, I guess I'm like, for me, I love Western movies, I guess.
So I wouldn't get a lot of the jokes.
Yeah, no,
Huge John
fine.
Wayne fan.
I think I watched it once and I was kind of confused.
You probably were. I mean, but it still has that Mel Brooks. Like, if you've ever seen Spaceballs or Young Frankenstein, like, it's got that same style of, like, you know, just like slap happy, like, you know, comedy. It's just dumb, like, pun jokes or something.
Gene Wilder as the Waco Kid is actually one of the best parts of that.
Oh, I love Gene Wilder in that movie. He's hilarious.
Oh, one thing I kind of want to read. All right, so apparently I worked for some sort of Sony picture at some point, so I got this letter in the mail, and it says, Sony Pictures Entertainment is writing to provide you information about a significant system disruption it experienced on Monday, and I'm like, wow, this is so cool. Oh my god, this is so legit. I've never gotten, like, a letter having to do with some news story. That's so dope.
Oh, because you work with... Wait, what was that CSI thing? I remember we were talking on Twitter or some shit like that.
Yes, I think I might be the only furry to have appeared on CSI, like, real furry, as opposed to
because
fake.
like, we were talking on Skype or whatever, and I was just like, dude, the furry CSI episode was on while we were talking about it, because I was watching Spy TV at the time.
I was on CSI New York, and I was just like an extra, but...
Yeah. Like a big-ass fucking arrow over you, and I was just like, wow, he just... that was really funny.
Yeah, it's really... If somebody's listening to this and wants to see it, just go to my WikiFur, just Google my name and go to WikiFur and have
You're on WikiFur. Did you make that yourself?
Of course, that's what everyone did. They made their...
That's shitty. No, I'm just giving you shit.
Now tell us how the audience could find your comic.
GONECHOO.com.
Excellent. All right, everyone check it out. It should be pretty cool. I'll check it out. All right, thank you everyone for joining me. This has been a fun episode, 31, and I'll talk to everyone like I don't know when. I'm going to be if you want to see me in fursuit, I'm going to be performing at the fursuit dance competition in about 3 weeks at Further Confusion in San Jose, California. So check that out. And that's it.
Talk about A&E for a second, too.
Oh, and A&E, I'm going to be performing at Antwerp, New England, at their Variety Masquerade show with Pennywise, and I haven't written it yet, but we will.
We really don't know what to expect, but it's going to be awesome, so you should check it out.
Yeah, it might be about bronies. All right, so let's go. Thank you, everyone, and bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.